Jay-Z's also been linked or connected in doing business with him. Now, Jay-Z has also been tied to Diddy through rumors and longtime allegations and conspiracies. We've all seen them online, like the one that claims Jay-Z allegedly cheated on Beyonce with Kathy.
What if the most shocking celebrity leak of the year wasn't a hack, a mistake, or even a betrayal, but a calculated move in a high-stakes war between two of the most powerful men in music? We are talking about a leaked clip of Sir Carter, the most protected member of the Carter dynasty, dropping online in March 2025 at the exact moment Ye is back in the headlines, and Sean Diddy Combs is fighting for his freedom from a federal cell. These are not random names crashing into the same news cycle. These are the same figures already tied together by a jailhouse phone call, a controversial song called Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine, and a public feud that has money, legacy, and control on the line.
Weirdo. Don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever.
We have that jail call first. In early 2025, footage surfaces of Diddy phoning Ye from a federal detention center, with Diddy warning him to be careful out there and talking about people trying to end us, while also thanking him for stepping in with his children while he awaits trial on serious racketeering and trafficking charges. Within days, Ye pushes a track titled Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine on X, opening with audio from that call and featuring Diddy, Diddy's son Christian, and West's own daughter North, despite Kim Kardashian allegedly trying to stop the release through legal channels. The timeline matters because just as that song and that call light up the internet, the Sir Carter footage quietly begins circulating in private group chats before exploding onto public feeds. These were not just coincidences, they were the opening moves. At the center of all this is Beyoncé's famously controlled universe.
And very, very honored that I got the response and the open heart, and people welcomed the album. The love I got from the country community tonight really made me feel so seen, and I'm very grateful.
For years, she and Jay-Z have built what insiders describe as near military-level protection around their family. In a rare 2024 GQ interview, Beyoncé talked about drawing hard lines around her privacy and said she only tours when her children are out of school, stressing that no amount of money is worth her peace and that she wants her 3 young ones to have as much normalcy and privacy as possible, even as they travel the world. Public moments are carefully curated. Blue Ivy on stage during Renaissance dates and in Mufasa press runs, Rumi slipping into Super Bowl shots and campaign visuals, and family cameos that always look polished and intentional. Sir, on the other hand, has been almost completely absent in real time for years, reduced to a handful of older photos and a brief appearance in Cowboy Carter visuals that fans quickly noticed looked 2 or 3 years out of date. That contradiction is exactly why this leak hits so hard.
And we do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you. It was being reported by TMZ and now Fox News. We are learning that Jay-Z is accused of a 13-year-old girl. That is new in the Diddy lawsuit.
We are talking about a household that can erase unapproved angles from a stadium show. Yet, in March 2025, a short, unflattering clip of Sir appears online, showing him moving in a way that has viewers concerned and confused. Descriptions in comment threads mention him floating around the room or moving with an unusual gait, and within hours, the footage is being pulled down and reposted faster than teams can flag it. Sources familiar with digital forensics tell us the version now circulating most widely has scrubbed metadata, with no obvious device information, no timestamp, no location tag, and no original uploader visible. A tactic, they say, is more consistent with professional crisis operators and media-savvy teams than with a random fan accidentally posting from a party. The odd details do not stop there.
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious.
In several zoomed-in reposts, viewers point to a blurred figure in the background, wearing what appears to be a thick chain with a pendant shaped like one of the older Sean John logos. No one can conclusively ID the piece from the pixelated frame, but industry stylists note the silhouette and hang look close to vintage pieces that were heavily pushed in Diddy's prime fashion years. On its own, that would just be trivia. Placed alongside the timing of the jail call, the rollout of Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine, and West's sudden public defense of Diddy as a way better father while promoting the track, it starts to look to insiders less like a random family leak and more like part of a pressure campaign. To understand why this theory has gripped the industry, we have to rewind to how locked down Sir has been until now. In 2021, Beyoncé shares a rare photo of herself with all 3 young ones, But even there, Sir is shielded by angles and distance. Grandma Tina Knowles, in interviews around 2023 and 2024, paints a picture of very different personalities. She calls Rumi a natural performer and artist, and describes Sir as quiet, focused on numbers and electronics, very, very smart, and not interested in fashion the way his sisters are. Those comments are meant to reassure fans that he simply prefers a low-key life, yet they only fuel more speculation once Sir continues to sit out huge public milestones, from Blue Ivy's major stage moments to a high-profile Good Morning America segment where Blue and Rumi appear on camera, but Sir is nowhere to be seen. By late 2024, Beyoncé doubles down on the privacy narrative in that GQ interview, explaining how raising 3 young ones with totally different needs keeps her grounded, and that she relies on prayer and patience to juggle their emerging identities.
You know how we waited for this moment. We waited for, I am so good, congratulations. This is a moment, I think, that you see people clapping in the media room. You saw the reaction out there. What does this mean to you?
It's very surreal, and it's been 25 years of just working really hard and trying my best to keep growing and keep opening up doors.
She frames her silence as a boundary, saying she will not give up her peace for headlines. But we see how that silence also leaves a vacuum. In fan spaces, quiet rumors that Sir might be on the spectrum have been circulating for years, often couched in concern rather than malice. Once the leak drops, those theories are suddenly pushed forward by anonymous sources familiar with the family dynamic, claiming the clip is proof of a developmental condition and arguing that this is why Sir has been shielded from crowds, bright lights, and chaotic backstage environments. At the same time, these whispers collide with a much darker narrative. Jay-Z is already denying a separate, serious civil accusation tied to events allegedly occurring around 2000, filing new motions in 2024 to dismiss the claim and calling the case a blackmail attempt through his lawyers. In that court back and forth, his team pushes hard to portray the allegations as full of inconsistencies and impossible details. Insiders say that as those filings hit the press, some conspiracy-minded followers begin connecting dots that may not exist, suggesting that Sir is being hidden, not just for his own comfort, but to shield him from the blowback tied to long-running chatter around Jay-Z's past. They point out that Blue and Rumi are still visible everywhere, argue that only the son is treated like a shadow, and spin that into theories about legacy, heirs, and what it means to be the boy in a billion-dollar family. This is where the Diddy and Ye factor comes roaring back in.
And I'm not saying allegedly.
Oh.
I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston.
Ye has already dragged Sir and Rumi into his online campaigns once before, launching an offensive rant where he questions their mental capacity, only to backtrack later and say he feels bad, while still framing himself as the black sheep abandoned by the Carters. Kim Kardashian's camp leaks that she is appalled by his language, and that she believes children should be off limits, even in the middle of industry feuds. Then, as his own custody tensions with Kim escalate in early 2025, Ye starts using their daughter North's voice in high-stakes projects. First, it is the Bully visual album. Then it is the controversial Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine, which Kim allegedly tries to block through emergency hearings, cease and desist letters, and trademark maneuvering over North's name. Despite that pushback, Ye releases the track on X anyway, framing it as by Puff Daddy, and tying his own family fight to Diddy's legal nightmare. The song opens with that jail call, where Diddy praises him for looking after his 7 children while he sits in a Brooklyn detention center awaiting a federal trial, then slides into a hook where North repeats a line about shining and seeing the light. For Kim, sources say the crisis is less about music and more about proximity. Her daughter's voice, now permanently linked to a man facing trafficking and racketeering counts, and to a narrative she cannot control. Behind the scenes, insiders say she considers asking a judge to strip Ye of joint legal say over their 4 young ones, arguing that he is refusing to respect the rules of their agreement. Now, place Beyoncé's silence, Jay-Z's legal defense, Diddy's desperation, and West's pattern of using intimate family elements in his war with Kim into the same frame as a carefully scrubbed, poorly timed Sir Carter leak.
So why does Puffy, why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup.
Industry sources start asking a chilling question. If Ye is willing to attach his own daughter's voice to Diddy at the exact moment Kim is trying to shield her, and if Diddy is on recorded calls urging Ye to get back behind the mic while thanking him for stepping in with his children, who actually benefits from turning the spotlight onto the Carters' most vulnerable, least public young one right now? Is this a genuine betrayal from someone inside Beyoncé's tight inner circle who snapped under pressure? Or are we watching the first move in a leverage play, orchestrated by a man who has everything to gain by reminding the world that other icons have secrets too? Because when we step back, the stakes for every name on this board are enormous. For Diddy, this is about his freedom, the narrative that will hang over those federal charges, and the image of a father that he and his lawyers keep putting forward as he battles multiple civil accusations and a looming trial. For Ye, this is about custody, his public war with Kim, and whether he can still bend culture to his will after years of spirals, anti-Semitic rants, and attacks on former mentors. For Beyoncé, this is about more than a clean image. It is about the one thing she has never put on the table in any business deal, tour announcement, or album rollout: the right to decide when, how, and if the world ever truly sees Sir Carter as he is today. This was not just a leak. It was the first shot in a war. And the next one, if insiders are right about what is already being prepared behind closed doors, is coming. Within 48 hours of the Sir Carter video dropping, 3 things happened, and none of them looked accidental.
Times, but Diddy parties and Diddy After Dark are two different things. I want to go on record of saying I never saw Jay-Z at a Diddy After Dark party. Then again, I wasn't there, so I don't know who was there. But I know that I saw Jay-Z at the Diddy party.
Kim Kardashian's legal team, according to sources tied to the family court calendar in early March 2025, quietly moved for an emergency hearing aimed at tightening her custody terms with Ye, focusing on his use of their young ones in high-profile projects like Bully and Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine. At almost the same time, insiders in New York say Diddy's defense team sent subpoenas to at least one private security contractor long associated with the Carters, requesting internal access logs and device audits from the weeks leading up to the leak, suggesting they were hunting for proof this footage had been sitting on someone's phone for a while. And in the middle of that legal scramble, Ye abruptly deleted his X account, only to reappear hours later with a single post that read, "They want me to stay quiet. I won't," prompting fans and lawyers alike to ask who exactly they was supposed to be. From there, the money trail becomes hard to ignore. By early 2025, legal analysts estimate that Diddy is facing more than $50 million in potential legal fees when you combine his federal case in New York with multiple civil actions scattered across different states, plus the cost of private investigators and public relations teams fighting on several fronts at once. Insiders at 2 major labels say a last-minute attempt to reboot a Yeezy-style fashion or sneaker collaboration in February 2025 stalled under the weight of his ongoing controversies, closing off one of the few pipelines that could have given him quick cash and cultural momentum. With that backdrop, the idea that a well-timed, explosive distraction involving the Carters might shift headlines away from his own situation stops sounding like pure conspiracy and starts looking like a desperate chess move from a mogul who has already watched sponsors, partners, and streaming playlists fall away. Then we have the strange overlap between imagery and location.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyoncé.
Fans who obsess over metadata point out that an early version of the Sir clip, before it vanished from most platforms, briefly showed a geotag that matched the same remote compound in California where Ye filmed key segments of the Bully visual album in late 2024, including the now infamous shot of Saint West walking through a dusty yard holding a heavy mallet as background performers staged aggressive confrontations. Former crew members from that shoot have told bloggers that Ye liked to reference old Diddy lore on set, allegedly repeating lines about how he would beat this or beat anything they throw at him, a dark echo of earlier threats from Diddy's own past that have been bisected in court filings and documentaries. When that same location, that same mood, and that same mix of family and menace reappear around a leak involving Sir, we can see why industry veterans start wondering if there is a shared pipeline feeding all this footage into the same ecosystem. Beyoncé's business moves add another layer. In February 2025, just weeks before the leak, she launches Sir Davis, a premium whiskey line with Moet Hennessy, branding it as a tribute to her great-grandfather Davis Hogue and his Prohibition-era craft, but sparking immediate fan theories about the Sir in the name. Financial bloggers who track celebrity ventures claim that some of the early Sir Davis licensing paperwork references a private trust structure believed to be tied to long-term generational wealth planning, with at least one entity informally nicknamed after Sir in internal correspondence. To those watching from the outside, it looks like Beyoncé is quietly building a financial fortress around her son, at the same time that his physical presence in the public eye shrinks to almost zero. And now, a leak forces that dynamic into the harsh light of viral speculation. How much is she willing to spend? And how many layers of lawyers and shell companies is she prepared to stack to keep him shielded from a world that seems determined to drag him into the story anyway? The contrast with how the Carters have handled past crises is stark.
I mean, why waste my time?
And sometimes you respond to something that brings way more attention to it, too.
That too, and it's just, it goes into another space, and then you just like, oh, y'all not listening to me.
But then you'll have somebody else that'll say to you.
When tracks from Renaissance slipped onto the internet ahead of schedule in 2022, the response was swift and theatrical. Fans were urged not to share the material. Physical album displays moved up, and Beyoncé publicly thanked the Hive for waiting until the proper release, turning a leak into a loyalty test that she passed with flying colors. During the meticulous 2023 Cowboy Carter rollout, when a handful of collaborators grumbled about credits and sound, her team flooded the zone with curated behind-the-scenes footage, press quotes, and visual drops that kept the narrative focused on artistry and history rather than conflict. That pattern, tight control, quick reframing, carefully chosen statements, was the rule for years. This time, though, the silence has been absolute. No joint statement from the Carters condemning the use of their son's image. No quiet background briefing to a friendly outlet explaining that the footage was old or misleading. Not even a vague Instagram caption about protecting young ones from the internet. Publicists who have worked with top-tier artists say that kind of vacuum usually means two things. Either the legal exposure is bigger than we know, or the emotional fallout inside the family is so intense that nobody can agree on a strategy. In the meantime, the online conversation moves without them, fueled by every slowed-down frame of the clip and every anonymous comment from a source claiming Sir has specific needs that make bright lights and crowds overwhelming. The more they say nothing, the more that nothing becomes its own kind of answer in the court of public opinion. Behind that silence, we keep hearing about a private playbook that elite celebrity families allegedly use when vulnerability meets scandal.
I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people.
A former road manager who has worked with multiple superstar households describes a pattern. When a secret about a son or daughter cannot stay buried, one faction argues to get ahead of it with a controlled documentary or magazine spread, while another pushes to let a controlled leak happen first, so the family can react as victims rather than controllers. In that framework, a clip like this could be either a hostile move from an enemy or a risky prelude from someone inside the camp who believes that taking a hit now prevents a bigger exposure later. If that is even partly true, it raises a chilling question about the way fame reshapes parenting at the highest level. Is this how some households really deal with their most delicate truths? By letting an outsider throw the first punch, so they never have to admit they opened the door. Right now, we are watching a three-way power struggle in slow motion. If Beyoncé steps forward, she risks anchoring every rumor to a face and a diagnosis that the internet will dissect forever. If she stays silent, she lets others tell a story about her son that may stick, even if it is wrong. If Ye decides to push more footage or hint that he has it, he could gain short-term leverage in courtrooms and contracts while losing any last shred of trust from one of the only couples who ever treated him as an equal. If Diddy is indeed connected to any of this, he has just signaled that no boundary is sacred when his freedom is at stake, and the next response from the Carters could determine whether that ruthless strategy actually pays off. So, as we speak, 3 people are making decisions that will change everything. A mother trying to protect her son's future, a rapper who still believes he is untouchable, and a mogul staring at the ruins of a once untouchable empire. The real question is not just who leaked the video, but who is about to step into the line of fire next. And when that happens, whose side are we really on? Let us know what you think in the comments. Tell us whose move you are watching most closely. And until the next twist drops, stay safe, stay curious, and we will talk again soon.